please welcome to the stage Marika Rauscher and Michael Dodd.
I know what you're all thinking. When you knew it was about a crossover singer, you were thinking about red lipstick, high heels and short skirts on a karaoke night, weren't you? That must have been you I was tuning into, so yeah, that's right. But in fact, as Marika will tell us, a crossover singer is not quite that. What exactly is it, Marika?
No, it's not a definitive term, but in my case, it means that I was trained classically as an opera singer, and I cross over into other genres. So I also sing musical theatre, cabaret, jazz, pop, if I must, and if they pay me. And in their authentic styles. So I'm not singing them as an opera singer, I'm singing them in their authentic styles. But I did get interviewed on a radio once, well, a few times, but this one time, she actually introduced me as a cross opera singer. I was like...
And we may have a story about that later on, but let's just go through, because one of the essentials of communication is to show, not tell. She says she can do all those styles. I mean, you can basically do sort of normal classical opera, can't you? How does that go?
Yeah, so a classical opera would be...
Whoa! She doesn't just walk the walk, she does beyond that. So I think you mentioned jazz. You do something called scatting. What's that about?
Scatting is a style of jazz singing. So it's the Austrians would call it yodeling, but the jazz have their own version. So if you're thinking, it don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing. That's scatting.
Right. Now, you said you don't do yodeling, but inspired by the sound of music, you could kind of get close, couldn't you? Yeah, no, I'm going to insist on something called the Lonely Goat Herd.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, it's really yodeling that. Yeah, try that, yeah.
So, high on a hill was a lonely goat herd, he yelled back to the foam of float herd,
And I think you said cabaret, which covers quite a lot of things, but when I look at you, I think of Marilyn Monroe.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
we have some French in the country.
Yeah. If we wanted Marilyn Monroe, what would you do?
It would definitely have to be
Diamonds?
diamonds.
Yeah.
Diamonds are girls, my friends. The French are glad to die for love. They rejoice in fighting duels. But I prefer a man who lives and gives expensive jewels. A kiss on the lips can be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend. There you go.
Whoa. So when you're in Marilyn Monroe mode, I suppose you're thinking of a rich, generous male suitor like Dave Heiner, for example, yeah? And those of you who've been following the conversation on Facebook in the last 24 hours may have noticed that we were trying to build up a bit of tension about who had actually drawn in this record crowd today, whether it was you or Dave Heiner or perhaps some of the others. And so we got into this idea of a sing-off later in the pub, which may or may not happen, but if there was to be a sing-off between you and Dave Heiner, would you be able to teach him how to sing Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend or something like that?
Absolutely.
You could do that.
Absolutely.
So you use your singing to actually help people, not just sing, but do other things as well. What does that involve?
It's basics of vocal coaching. So you're learning how to actually control your breath. A lot of people, when they get scared, when people say, I'm going to teach you how to sing.
Scared.
They run right.
Yeah.
And we learned how to breathe when we were born. We do that organically. In front of the most natural thing we do is to sing. The first thing we did when we came out of the womb was singing. Some people have rephrased that and called it screaming. It's a lie. You sang. You sang a note. It might not have been in tune, but it was a note. And then what's the first thing your parents do to you? They sing to you. They sing to you. Okay, some people have some weird upbringings here. But yeah, so breathing. It's not how we breathe, we know how to do that. That's organic. It's learning how to control your breath and learning where your resonance areas are and where your pitch is.
So Dave said he would only sing in the pub if I did too. I mean,
That's only fair.
yeah, well, he's got a point, I suppose. He's pretty tough, so I'm not going to challenge him too much there. But I mean, just suppose I had a friend called Bruce, for example, an Australian friend. Who, you know, perhaps,
a friend.
Yeah, a friend, yeah. And he was asking you a question. You know, could you actually make someone, through your techniques, make them sound, you know, if they're a bit Australian or something, a bit more sophisticated?
Yeah. Because I imagine Bruce talks a lot through the nose.
Yeah. Well, yes.
And that-
yes, he does. Yes.
And that closes up the sound a lot. So if I can use Bruce, and we'll all try and emulate Bruce, right? So instead of going through the nose, I want us to literally drop our jaw and drop our tongue. When I say drop the tongue, I don't mean the front of the tongue, I mean the back of the tongue, as if you're yawning, or if you've gone to the doctor and he's put a spatula in your throat to see your sore throat. Ah. Okay, let's try that one more time. Ah.
They definitely sound more sophisticated than Bruce. That's good.
There you
Yeah.
go. So that's taking the sound away from the nasal area and getting you to actually go down into your chest resonating area. Ah. And if we try a hum, we're just going to go. So let's try the lowest note up to the highest note. Lovely. Can we just try one more? I want us to go from the lowest note up to the highest note and back down again.
Whoa.
See, so you need to actually sit up straight because you're crushing your instrument. Your lungs are your instrument. Yeah. Have a good breath in through the nose. And. There you go.
I feel more sophisticated already.
So the next step, we'll move on. The next step would be to do exactly the same, but with our open-mouthed ah. Have we got time to try that?
A very good one.
A very quick one. Drop your jaw, breathe in through your nose. Ah. Now Bruce should have noticed that he's gone from hello to hello.
I prefer the first
That's your Marilyn in there. All right.
one. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much. So I think you're probably further along your singing journey than perhaps your speaker journey. So what's your highest aspiration to use these amazing qualities in your speaking in the future?
So my aspirations are to basically empower people, because we forget how powerful our voice is, and a lot of feedback that I get from doing my corporate events as an opera singer is that people get moved by the power of the voice. A lot of people say, oh, I want to be louder, I want to be able to project my voice, I don't think I've got power in my voice. It doesn't actually mean how loudly you sing. People engage power with loudness. You can be extremely effective by being quiet and using your voice effectively with resonance, using your silences and empowering you through how you use your voice. And especially when we get nervous, we get breaks in the voice. Our nerves mean we actually are not breathing properly, so you'll actually get a flutter in the voice. It starts getting friendly and starts waving at everyone. It's that kind of effect. So it's actually learning how to use your speech, how to use your intonation, so you don't turn into Mickey Mouse when you're talking. It gets a bit too high. Or you end up talking really, really quickly and then you run out of breath and you actually can't hear anything because you're talking really fast and you're going, thank you very much, goodbye. Or that you actually use just one level. It's called monotone. When people all talk on the same note all the time and it gets really boring because their content is really fascinating.
Right, we'll leave it there. Thank you
there
very
we go.
much. Yeah, that's good, that's good. So you've got some fabulous stories to tell us down the pub later about David Suchet and how you appeared on stage with him.
Yes.
And a great Tosca story. Ask you about the Tosca story. But it's time to say goodbye. And I think Marika can probably do it in a way like no one else.
Oh, so it has to be goodbye, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, adieu, 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 to you and you and you, goodbye.